the most important part of kidney, or basically kidney is made up of a lot of nephrons. Let's see what exactly nephron does. So there are four things that it's doing. Can you guess one at a time? It starts off by filtration, right? This is filtering out things. Then this is selection, and this is a sponge which absorbs things, right? Water and all of that. So reabsorption. So this will be selective reabsorption. And we have a person in urgency. So this is nothing but your correct urine formation. And finally, this is nothing but stamp. And what do we do with stamp? Yes, we collect them. Collective, this is removal of things, collection, and basically excretion. So finally, it does all of this. Okay, so let's see how it does. So this is your, books diagram. This is how it looks in your books. A simplified version is over here. It's of my kind. Now let me give a overview. So let me give this. Blood starts from here. Okay, so maybe red, or let me make it white. That will be better. And let me make it a bit fat, easier to discuss. So at the very first, it goes through something called as Bowman's capsule. Last time we read it, right? Like over here, Bowman's capsule. So here. And it gets filtered, and then the blood gets, spread out in this manner, in this manner, in this manner, in this manner, so on and so forth. Right? So finally it goes over here, and yes, it gets deoxygenated and it goes back into the system. But in between this, something is happening. Right? In between this, something is happening. What's happening? Well, let's have a look. So from the perspective of nephron, so this entire structure, right, is a nephron. Now, in the Bowman's capsule, if you have a look at over here, as in when the blood enters, so there's a passive removal of things. There's a pressurized scenario. So what happens is big fat things like a cell will not be able to come out, but small things will be able to get eliminated, and it gets collected by the outside. So you need to understand that this is 3-dimension, not 2-dimension, it's 3-dimension. So things gets pushed out and it gets collected in this capturing unit. Of course, not everything gets pushed out. Some gets pushed out and quite a few things are left out, and it travels, right? And it travels, and we have this complex, interaction between these two that is represented over here. So a simplified version is on the right. So we have the connection between your bloodstream and your bladdering connecting unit, right? So the collecting duct. So there is further exchange. Okay, further exchange. At the very first step, we have filtration. The process is called as filtration. This is passive. Passive means it's because of pressurized scenario. Because of physical nature, there's no energy is being spent. That's a better word. There's no energy per se being spent in doing this. That kind of filtration is happening. Of course, sometimes we need things which will be useful, so that will get reabsorbed. Okay, sometimes not every, when you're trying to clear something out, when you do something randomly, not everything will be, not everything that is wasteful will be sent, and not everything that will be useful will be saved. Some of the useful materials will be pushed to your Bowman's capsule. So that we need to get back to the bloodstream. That happens. Secretion happens. This is an active removal. Forcefully, you'll remove things that is not needed by our body. That's happening. And of course, collection and removal. So basically, it starts over here and all of that. So in this case, all of this reabsorption and secretion is happening. Okay, it actually goes like this, like this. By the end, what we have is things that has to be removed. So that is collected in the collective duct. You can think of this as sewage canal or something, right? A pipe from your house, and it joins the road pipe per se, whatever is in the road, or if you're in an apartment, so apartment's main pipeline. Okay, and then it will get collected and so on and so forth. It goes to your bladder, right? So basically, this is all the details that you need to know, right? So basically, we are looking at filtration, selective reabsorption, urine formation, collection and excretion. And in terms of diagram, of course, this is the main idea that you need to know of. Okay, wherein you have the blood moving in and pressurized way of filtration starts. Not everything that is needed will be kept. Some will come into the capillary, this tube, right? And some which is not needed will also continue to flow. So we have to do selectively things, we have to be careful with it. And that's where this complex structure comes into picture. Once all of that is done, what is left out is it goes through your collective duct and eventually to your bladder. Okay, again, you can think of all of this as a big factory, you know, and this will make sense. It works like a factory. Okay, so that's your nephron. Oh yeah, sorry, notes. How do nephron work? Filtration. Blood flows through the capillaries and waste product such as urine or uric acid along with substance like glucose, amino acid, salt and significant amount of water are filtered out into Bowman's capsule. Right? You can see that quite a few things that is needed also is removed. This filtered fluid is known as filtrated. Then we have to do selective reabsorption. As the filtrated travels through the coiled tube of nephron, they mean this. Okay. Useful substances like glucose, amino acid, salt, and large amount of water are selectively reabsorbed into the blood. The amount of water reabsorbed is regulated based on the body's need. So that's why this is selective. So if you drink a lot of water, your urine is not that yellow and it does not per se smell. But if the urine is very concentrated, it smells because the water that is you guys have you're basically dehydrated. So if your pee is a dark yellow means your body needs water. That's an indication. If it's less yellowish, then you're on the right track. If it's almost there's no yellowish, then you have excess of water. Okay, so such indication happens. So the remaining fluid primarily contains waste product, forms urine, and these are collected. So urine from each nephron enters a large tube called as ureter, which transports it to the urinary bladder for storage before being expelled from the body throughout the uterus. The main purpose of this process is to filter waste product from the blood, similar to how lungs removes carbon dioxide. The selective reabsorption ensures that essential substances are retained while wasteful products are excreted in the urea. It should be common sense, guys. It's not at all complicated to understand that is, of course. How body works is altogether complex, but understanding should not be that complex. I hope you guys are enjoying all of this. I thought I actually didn't like bio before, but now it makes a lot of sense. Maturity, I guess.